All right, welcome back. So we're just gonna get to actually putting some sprinkles on this donut and coloring it. But first, I want to check some things like, oh, like just checking it out and making sure that any of like problems are not in the final render. So I'm just like fixing some parts and making sure that none of them are weird looking. Alright, I feel like that's good enough, but it might be more for you. I'm just gonna go out of sculpt mode now and save. Sorry for your ears. Um, Now I'm just gonna like first. I can see that this is a bit off centered, so I'm gonna go back in sculpt mode and just kind of push this thing out because I want it to be a bit balanced in certain things. Alright, that looks a lot more balanced. So I'm going to introduce you to a new mode called the viewport shader. It's actually called viewport shading. Yeah, I got it right. So if you click it, your laptop may stall for a bit, and wow, it's become white. This just shows you like an example of what your colors or materials would look in a rendered environment. So right now we have no materials, but that's why it's all white. So we're gonna add a few materials. I'm gonna click the bread first and isolate it. Remember, isolate it, remember. I'm gonna go over here to this red ball and material. When you click this your laptop may take a while. Just give it a minute. Yep. And give it as long as it needs to be. Now there's a lot of things here and we're going to go into most of them, but we're just going to focus on the base color right now. With the base color, that's just where your colors are supposed to be. So the metallic is how metallic it looks, how much it looks like metal. The roughness is how shiny it is. The alpha, that's the whole thing. We'll go into it later. So we just need to change the base color to a bready type color, like a golden / yellowish. I think it's something charred. We'll have two different donuts. One will be a chocolate donut, and one will be a strawberry donut. So I want to make this one a bit charred. This one will be this chocolate donut, and yeah, this looks pretty good. Just a simple base color. We don't really need much texture because most of it will be covered by the icing anyway. Now if we unisolate it by clicking / again, we can make our icing a different color. I'm gonna make the base color something around this pinkish type. Yeah, pinkish. That pink thing looks good. Pinkish. Now I want to not just to make this like this flat. I want to make it shiny. Actual icing isn't actually shiny, but ooh, what problems are we having here? That's a lot of problems. So I'm gonna go back into sculpt mode and try to fix any of those problems. Because we don't want that to appear in the actual render. And if you're still having problems, you can just use subsurface. That works for me most times. Alright, those are all the problems fixed. Yeah, so this is actually, I want it to be a bit shiny because actual icing is not shiny at all, but I do feel like it could add a bit more, it could add a bit more variety and just make it look overall just much better. So I'm gonna go back into object mode and just crank up the metallic and crank down the roughness. The metallic makes it look more like metal, even though it's supposed to be icing. It will just make it look so much better, trust me. And I'm gonna crank down the roughness, not too much since this is still gonna be icing. And you can see that this has all throughout made our colors a bit darker. So I'm gonna have to increase the shading of the colors there. I think around there is good, and just make it a bit more pinkish since this is supposed to be strawberry. And then crank up the lights. Now that looks pretty delicious, doesn't it? It looks pretty delicious. Now, you know what this donut is lacking? Sprinkles. Like, that's the whole thing that makes icing the best part, even if it's just crushed up icing. So how would we make icing? I mean, what? Now, how would we make sprinkles? So to make sprinkles, we're gonna take advantage of a thing called geometry nodes. Now, what are geometry nodes? Geometry nodes are practically just little nodes that help you to achieve what you want in any way or any shape or any form. So if we go into geometry nodes over here, which is this active workspace, whoa, a lot of things. We don't really need this over here, so you're just gonna click on the divider between these things and click join whichever way you want it more. If you want this to be big, you join right. If you want this to be big, you join left. I want this to be big, so you join left. And I'm going to go into my viewport shader, and I'm going to create a new geometry node. Wait, before you do that, make sure you click on the icing. First, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to make it on the icing. Make sure you made it on the icing. And before we go any further, save. Save. Make sure you save. I'm going to have to parent an object. You know what it means to parent? It means that, like, if let's say that these are two objects, and I want to move this one up, but I also want to move this one up, but I want this to be a separate object of its own. So I will parent this one to this one, so that if I move this up, the parent will go as well, but if I move this up, the child will not go. Or sorry, the other way around. If I move the parent up, the child will go as well, but if I move the child around, the parent will not go. Any way you think of it. So to parent an object, you click on the object you want to be the parent, I believe, and then you click on the object you want to be the child. Sorry, it's the other way around. You click on the object you want to be the child, and then you click on the object you want to be the parent, and you press Control P. And obviously you don't really need any of these things, you just need to keep transform because you want to keep the transform. And now if I move the icing, you see that it moves on its own, but if I move the bread, it always moves with the icing. Now I actually wanted it the other way around, so I'm going to make sure that I have them unparented. Make sure I have them unparented, and oh god, remove the parenting. Alright, no, it's not on parenting. Okay, it's fixed now. Alright, now I'm going to click the bread first, and then I'm going to click the icing, Control P, keep transform. Now if I move the bread, it can move on its own, but if I move the icing, it goes with the bread. That's really cool. Now what we're going to do, we want to make sprinkles, so we're going to go back to the geometry nodes and click the icing and delete whatever geometry nodes were here before and make a new on that. Now first, before we do anything, let's go and make our sprinkle. So I'm going to go into front photographic view and move along, Shift A to add a primitive, and I'm thinking of going with a circular type of thing. Nah, I changed my mind. I want something that's how about something like an icosphere? It's still cylindrical, but I'm just gonna go with the circular. You know, in 3D you always have to brainstorm things and make sure you know what you want. I'm gonna go with an UV sphere, move it to the side, and then make it oops and then make it whoops. What the hell, Andre? You're supposed to move along with it, and it seems that the axes are stuck on the 3D cursor. Don't worry, I'll just move the cursor over here, and now we can I'm not sure why it's doing this, but you know, it's fine, it's fixed anyway. The 3D cursor is such a useless thing. I don't even know why I do it. So now we have our sprinkle, which is just a ball, honestly. And generate. I'm gonna put a subdivision surface so that it's a bit smoother, and I'm gonna shade smooth. That's better. I'm now gonna add a material. Since our thing is pink, I'm thinking of something a bit something to contrast that pink. What's that the opposite of pink? Something blue. So something light aqua or turquoise would be great, and I may make it a bit darker. Crank up the metallic. I know that there are some metallic sprinkles. Crank up the metallic and crank down the roughness. Not super not all roughness gone, but something good. Now we have our sprinkle. So we just want the sprinkle to be all around this. So we're gonna go back into geometry and nodes and finally make a geometry node. So if we go over here, we want our sprinkle over here to be all around this place. So we're gonna think, I want points around this. So we're gonna have to Shift A, and wow, it's not a primitive anymore, but it's more of a instance type thing. So I'm just gonna do instance on points. Whoops. And oh no, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I see that we have maybe I have done the wrong thing. Let me try again. Whoops. Group input, group output. Shift A, points, distribute points on faces. Alright, it fixed it. Alright. So now we can see how our points are there, but our actual icing has disappeared. Why is that? It's because the geometry is not actually joined to any of these things, so it's kind of like just thinking you're trying to replace the geometry, but like saying we want this geometry but you also want that geometry. So you're gonna have to shift A again, and then we're gonna go into geometry and then join geometry. You're gonna use join geometry a lot, but all you need to know is that sorry, I put it in the wrong place. Shiba. Alright. If you put this over here, oh no, what's happening? You know, this is just in 3D. You have to remember what's happening, and you know to know. Let me just think. All right, so I finished thinking, and I think I have got it. It's because I didn't take both of them. So there's supposed to be also the group input and the distribute point of faces that's supposed to be in the join geometry. So if I shift A and then I go over to geometry and then I put join geometry where it's supposed to be, and then I move this over here, woo! Our I think it's back. The reason why it didn't work before is because it wasn't even getting the inputs, talk less of distributing the points of faces. Now this is good. It looks like sprinkles, but that's not the sprinkle we designed. Like, this is the sprinkle we designed. It's that beautiful jade sprinkle that just looks so cool, and it should be on it. So this is actually a really simple fix. So first we're gonna take our sphere over here and we're gonna drag it into here, and that puts all the object info right here. So now the thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add an instance so it actually knows what we're referring it to. So it's like a conduit, like a channel. So if I put Shift A, instances, and then I instance on points, I believe that's instance on points. Whoops, I put it in the wrong place. If I put it right here and I move the object info and then I put the geometry in the instance, whoa, that's way too big. But that's because it doesn't know what the scale is. It just assumes that this is supposed to be how it is, how big it is, but it's not actually supposed to be like that. So if we drag in the scale with its scale, ooh, look at that. But I believe they are still a bit too big. So if I make them smaller, you can see that they adjust as well with where we were. Now this looks cool, but sometimes our sprinkles, they jump on each other, which is just not really good. So this is an easy fix. All we gotta do is change it from random to post on disk, and you can see that our sprinkles, they're still jumping on each other, so there wasn't a bit of a big fix, right? But don't worry, if you increase this disadmin by 0.1, look at that, our sprinkles are no longer jumping on each other, and they're being nice and chill for us. And those are our sprinkles. Pretty cool. Save. I'm sorry for your ears. Okay. And just like that, we already have our donut colored and ready to go. I believe there's one more thing we should add though, and that is a sheen. It's kind of like just an after color, just a bit of a tint. I'm gonna put like a bluish purplish because it should be a bit more extreme for your sheen. Ooh, that's a bit too much. Maybe I'll make the weight a little bit less, and then transition, maybe make the weight higher. Just play around with the settings and see what seems good for you. Now this looks good. We're great. We're good to go. So in the next tutorial, we'll finalize our rendering and we'll just get ready to finish our thing. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a like and notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.